1,414 days it has taken for ADA to make this move. Some people out there might think I'm crazy for calling this a bullish macro move, but I'm going to do my best to explain in this video why I think it's so bullish on the macro and what potentially could be in store for ADA in the short and long term. So let's talk about it. I just recorded an entire video talking about it, and I'm just not happy with how I explained it. So I'm going to give it another go right now in this video. And the first thing I want to start with is this. In my view, in my opinion, and how I see the charts, and you all know I've been tracking for months and months and months in this bear market, this 20-week moving average. And I've said when this breaks, this is going to be a key pivotal moment for ADA and this shift from bear market into bull. And the shift isn't overnight. This isn't me saying the bull market is confirmed, not even close. I don't think we're that close to the bull market starting and being confirmed just yet. But this is a huge move for ADA. Of course, even now as we have this new weekly candle opening, there is room to the downside. I want to discuss that. Even if we get a huge drop for ADA, it doesn't matter to me. This move triggering something very big for Cardano in the long term, and I want to discuss. One thing I want to mention, which I think is worth mentioning, is 1,414 days. What is that? If we zoom out and we kind of go zoomed out on the weekly chart and we go all the way back to the last bear market. So all the way back here, which was 2018 bear market, you can see the swing low right here. It's this move. It's this move, ADA, very similar, breaking above the 20-week moving average. In the last bear market, same story. Resistance at that area the entire time, and then finally a weekly close above that area, and you can actually see at that area, March 2019, it was broken. The reason why that really stands out to me, not only because it's the end of ADA's bear market right there, but you go to Bitcoin and it was right around that same time frame, April 2019, just after March, Bitcoin breaking that area, the 786 macro Fibonacci breaking out of its own bear market. So Bitcoin is doing something similar. Obviously, if you've been watching the Bitcoin charts, breaking out, right? Breaking out of a similar 786 line. And so it's amazing to me to see the confluence really of these two charts, Bitcoin exiting and ADA now exiting, putting in a technical indicator, which is a 20-week moving average. And for me, that's a very bullish signal, and it's a really bullish macro signal. And for me, someone that's not a huge trader, but more of just a macro-minded investor, that's where things get important to me, seeing this happen. And we know we've been in the pain, right? Just this resistance at the 20-week moving average. So for me, it's a huge deal. And if we actually zoom out on the chart, I want to just open up real quick before we dig into the daily chart. I want to just show you on the momentum oscillator, this RSI right here, slower moving momentum oscillator, we have this nice, just crazy out of oversold area, just amazing momentum to the upside. And you can see right now, at a similar area, haven't been in this area on the RSI from a momentum perspective since all the way back here in April 2022, where it was also hitting 20-week moving average resistance at the top of the screen right there that you see. Now, besides that, ADA, if we keep looking at this RSI, let me open it up, just look at this momentum. I mean, it is kind of seeing a similar area from that March swing high, but look at all these other swing highs ADA has just kind of demolished in this move of momentum. That's a huge macro indicator. It is something that happened after the last bear market as well. All of these like little lower highs, just ADA exploding out of that area in that March 2019 timeframe when it was also breaking above and giving that 20-week moving average signal that it did out of the last bear market. All of these things important to me from a macro perspective. Are we going to get this explosive move that we had in the last bear market? Look at this, just more weekly green candles to the upside. I don't know. It would be amazing. It would be great, especially as you can see ADA back then testing the 50-week moving average and just seeing some really nice gains. Are we going to get that? Not exactly sure. If we actually real quick go over there, that's a really big move for ADA, the 50-week moving average sitting up here around 54 cents or so. So from a price range perspective, we would still need to see continuation of another 40% or so. That would be insane to track that in the coming weeks if it happened. But I want to say this, even if it doesn't happen, this move that has just happened is going to be, if we look back and we zoom out, even in a year from now or something, when we look at this part of the chart, this is going to be the pivotal turning point of the bear market, in my opinion. And that could even mean that ADA comes back down to test a higher low area. We can say swing high or swing low to swing high that ADA recently saw. Let me zoom in so we can see this a little bit more clearly. And maybe ADA falls all the way back down to a 786 test below 30 cents again, 26, 27 cents down here. What if it retests even this previous swing low right around 24 cents? I say all of these things are possible. And even if the chart gets so ugly that it happens, this entire move right here is kind of this anchor point that just claws its way into this macro shift of bear to bull, right? So this is a beginning of that macro shift, even if there's still more downside and we get the turnaround. So this is important. It's critical. Obviously, we want to see continuation. It'll be amazing. But whether there's continuation and then a fall, or the fall happens now for support, these falls, these retracements, they happen all the time in these markets. So we're going to continue watching that. But in discussing a potential continuation of the bulls right now, this is the chart that's important, everybody. Let me kind of clean some of this up real quick. But we see the 20-week moving average being broken on the weekly chart we just looked at. But what do we still have? We still have this entire Fibonacci resistance area. So swing high to swing low, we have ADA. It's testing it right now as I do this video, right in the middle of this lower high resistance area. So right now, right around 39 to 40 cents is the 786 line. And at the bottom, we have right around 36 cents is the 618 line. So ADA is just in the middle of this resistance area. 200-day moving average right here, confluent with the 786 line. And if you notice, just above that area, there's this white trend line. So I was very conservative with putting this on the chart, which is to say, if I zoom out to show you, I took the first two swing highs. So I took the first swing high, which is the all-time high, and then this you see these wicks on this daily swing high. I just said, let's put it there. That's a very conservative way to do it. It makes resistance a little bit more out of reach. I mean, we could cheat a little bit, I guess. Not even cheat, but some people would, and sometimes I do this actually, but you would chart it so that it's kind of like the average of all of these lower highs, and you just kind of put it right in there somewhere, right? And you see how there's some wicks going outside of that line, but it's kind of the average of all of these. That's a way to do it, but I really wanted to make this out of reach for ADA, because if we did it that way, you see ADA is actually broken out of the trend line, and I could make this look really bullish to chart it like this. It's broken out of the trend line and it's revisited, and we're bouncing up into this huge resistance area. But I wanted to bring it out of reach, right? And I wanted to say, let's make it really hard for ADA. And that is to say, the first two swing highs, let's create that trend line. And I think it does a really good job as well of just kind of bringing into play the 200-day moving average and really bringing the whole chart of resistance together. For me, this is kind of like an art. So you want to visualize these things and take these data points to really see where the resistance truly is. So that trend line, that white trend line, and that 200-day moving average, I think, are the biggest resistance areas for ADA right now. And you can just see the range that ADA is from those areas. It's not that far. ADA from the 200-day moving average, around 3 to 4%. From that white macro trend line, around 16% or so. So that's a huge range of resistance, and ADA is just in it right now, testing it. And this is what I'll be watching in the short term. Let's see how markets open this week. Obviously, equity markets, the stock market has so much to do with what crypto does. So is it going to be a green week? And if it is a green week for crypto, will ADA perform well? Is it going to outperform? That's the question, as we have this range of resistance just ahead, as ADA on the very short term literally sits right in this huge range of resistance. One thing I want to make a note of is this. You can see ADA made this move above the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average crossed above the 50-day moving average, kind of hit this resistance. You see this wick into the resistance, came back down, didn't necessarily hit the 20-day, but it made a move that we want to see, which is a higher low above that test of support at the 20-day moving average. We want to see those tests above the 50, the 20, and we want to see higher highs and higher lows above those areas. So far, we've seen it. Here's a swing high, here's a higher low, here's another higher high. And now if it does come back down, we want to see another higher low. So here's the 20-day moving average. We can take our Fibonacci on the shorter term. From this swing low to current swing high, we have a Fibonacci retracement, a pullback area, 618 right around 35 cents, I guess we could call it, 786 right around 34 cents. So there's a little bit of a cushion to the downside for ADA right now if there's going to be true resistance here. And what I'd be looking for is this 8 to around 11% range of support. Does that hold for ADA as these moving averages? And let me just clean this up a little bit. As these moving averages kind of get pulled into ADA, that 20-day moving average right here, the 50-day, is there support for a higher low if ADA were to fall? And does ADA bounce off of that area, testing this resistance again? What I would really like to see, I'm sure you too, would just love to see ADA escape this entire resistance area and make a move towards this upward trend line that extends to the bull market high. That would be epic. And remember, I'm putting it out of reach a little bit on this chart, but I want to make it hard. This has been a grueling story to tell as we've tracked this entire bear market for ADA, and it's, why not? We've made it this far coming out of the swing low so far, and we are so close to seeing ADA make a really monumental move beyond just what I think is a monumental move already, the 20-week moving average being broken, and this weekly candle most recently closing above it. And we can start monitoring now. There's not a lot of separation from that 20-week moving average, but right now sitting around 35 cents, we can monitor now. Will there be support above that area? Right now, ADA has around, what is that? It's around 8%, 8 to 9% separation from that area. Let's see if ADA can maintain that going into this new week. This is all the things that I'll be watching, everybody. I appreciate you cruising by. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.